Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lori. Today I wanted to do a video on self-love and how we can practice it on a daily basis. I received a download yesterday morning during a recorded journey I was doing with the Sirians, and something shifted in me massively after this recording, and I'll put the link to the recording down below if you want to purchase it. It's 47 minutes, and they opened up my heart center and they were giving me ways in which I can begin to learn how to unconditionally love myself, because although we are taught how to some of us, how to open up the heart center, I've always had a hard time with that. What does that mean to open the heart center? What does it mean to move into the heart center? I've never resonated with that. It never made sense to me. I never understood it. I just felt like I was breathing into a center like any of my other centers, and it was just an energy or a vibration I was feeling. And so what I was brought into and guided to by the Sirians yesterday was a technique and techniques that allowed me to feel what it feels like to unconditionally love myself. And I have been taking this technique that's very simple with me in every single moment throughout yesterday and today, and it has literally shifted the way I am viewing myself, the way I am experiencing myself, the way I am seeing myself, the way I am starting to really love myself. Because here's the thing about loving ourselves, self-love. We all, many of us, understand that we have to learn to love ourselves. We have to learn to love others. We have to move into what the spiritual community loves to talk about, which is unity consciousness, which means that we are all one and yet we are all unique. And these are beautiful concepts, right? Of course. You want to begin to move into a unity consciousness field, right? Because in the quantum, we live in that. We are all from source. We all have the same spark of source within our physicality. So we are all one, even though we are all unique sparks and consciousnesses from the one, okay? But in order to move into and feel unity consciousness, you have to unconditionally love yourself. In order to embrace and accept everything as one or as you or in this neutral space, you have to be able to unconditionally love yourself. When we shift into higher dimensional fields, you know, everyone's running to try to get to this new earth, right? And I've explained it before, where it's actually not a new earth. It's the way the earth has been millions of years ago, which is in a fifth dimensional form. So it's actually not new. But we're all kind of scrambling, trying to get to this higher vibrational field. And we want to feel this kind of bliss state, right? And moving out of the density. I think one of the things that we're forgetting in a large way is how do we unconditionally love ourselves? How do we take the baby steps? Because most of us, although we may love aspects of ourselves, we don't necessarily unconditionally love every aspect of our beingness in this now moment, right? There are programs and paradigms that we have piled on top of ourselves, defense mechanisms that we have piled like blankets on top of ourselves in order to exist in this third dimensional consciousness. And there's no right or wrong about it, but most of us have done this in order to survive the density. And as we pile these blankets on top of ourselves, defending sort of ourselves from the consciousness that we have been experiencing, we build up these walls, or we pile these blankets on top of ourselves, which then distances ourselves from the unconditional love that we hold innately within us. So we are separating and separating and separating as we are continuing in our life in this third dimensional realm, just very naturally based on the density in which we are walking in. So we've got all these piles of blankets on top of us. and many of us have had many traumatic experiences which make us believe that we aren't worthy, right? Make us believe that, and this is the Akashic record as well, right? What we have chosen to experience in this third dimensional realm. Oh, I want to experience lack. I want to experience low self-confidence, low self-esteem. I want to experience a lack of boundaries. I want to experience massive trauma, right? And so with the combination of the Akashic record and the defense mechanisms that we have created very naturally to be able to exist in this consciousness, in this field, we've distanced ourselves from this unconditional love, okay? Partly because we are in a very low vibration. When we start shifting into higher states of consciousness, we begin to pull the blankets off. We begin to peel back the layers. We begin to look at the programs and the paradigms, right? We begin to kind of wipe the dust off our eyes and start to say, holy cow, where is the love for self? Where is my love for me? Look at all of these things I've been doing, these behaviors, these addictions, the lack of boundaries, the way I've let people do whatever it is in order to satisfy them and not myself. The situations I have put myself in that I'm not happy in, right? Many, many things. You can think of example after an example. Being in a relationship with someone where they don't honor you and love you and cherish you, right? These are all mechanisms that we have programmed ourselves to be in order to survive this. So as we start shifting and our frequency within our physical form starts to shift into the next highest frequency, what starts to happen is we become acutely aware of these programs and paradigms, and we start to recognize that we are being called back in to that center, the fourth energy center, which holds that spark of source, which connects us to the love essence. And when you connect to that love essence, which is what the Sirians were calling it, they were calling it an essence, which is basically a spark, a frequency of love. When you tap into that, you tap into an unconditional love for self and an unconditional love for every other being that exists on this earth plane. And that is innately in every single one of us. But again, because we are in a dense consciousness walking around in this field, and we are having all of these experiences that are creating these false realities and beliefs about us, we've distanced ourselves, piled the blankets on top of ourselves, unable to connect, unable to feel, unable to tap into that essence, that love essence. So, what I was taught by the Sirians yesterday, and the link down below to listen to the recording so that you can go through it yourself as well, was a very, very simple technique that when you practice this, you will feel the love essence, okay, in that heart center. And what this was when you look at a newborn baby, so you imagine yourself standing and looking at a newborn baby. Most humans will have very similar energetic reactions, which is love, unconditional love, peace, joy, expansion, awe, right? All of these things, if you remember looking at a newborn baby or just a baby in general, right? This beautiful being of light that can do no wrong, that is just being. If you can tap into that feeling of what it felt like, that's the essence of love. That is the core source, essence, and spark that is within this fourth energy center, waiting for us to tap into it. And the best way to tap into these kinds of super high frequency essences within us is to feel it by remembering how we have felt it in another now moment. And the easiest way for so many of us is to remember looking at a newborn baby. Then, if you can tap into what that felt like, that is what you want to see and look at when you are with you. You want to look at yourself as a newborn baby or any sort of baby. You want to feel that feeling for you. That you can do no wrong. That you're infinite and expansive and abundant. That you are beautiful just by being, just by sitting in here. That there is nothing that baby or you could say, be, do, have, not have, that would stop me from unconditionally loving that being. And if you can start to see yourself as a newborn baby or a baby, right? Every single moment throughout your day, I guarantee you will start to love yourself like you've never loved yourself before. This takes practice. Unconditionally loving ourselves is something that so many of us have read about, heard about, learned, tried to practice. I mean, how many books have you read? How many lectures have you seen? How many teachers have you heard talk about it? It's one thing to understand it. And this is with everything in the ascension process, moving into and being in higher frequencies. You have to be it. You have to practice being it. It's not enough anymore for us to just understand it, conceptualize it, figure it out in our logical minds and say, oh yeah, that makes sense. I know how to do that. I know how to unconditionally love myself. Really? What does it feel like? Because for me, it's very, very difficult for me to get into my heart center throughout the day, feel my heart center, open my heart center. I don't resonate with that. I don't get it. Put my hands on my heart. Okay, I can do that. Breathe into it. Sure. But nothing has ever gotten me to that love essence like that practice that I did with the Sirians, which I just shared with you. It shifted everything in my world. To be able to tap into a moment in my lifetime where I felt unconditional love, deep unconditional love, and I know what that feels like. I don't have to visualize myself going into a center. I don't have to breathe into that center. I don't have to try to feel that energetic center. I can just move myself into a timeline where I was standing in my physical form, feeling it in my physical body, and boom, I'm feeling it. I'm vibrating with that frequency. I can feel it. I am being that essence. And then I turn inward and I feel and look at myself with that vibration, with that essence. So as I'm moving about my day in the last 24 hours, I have held this vibrational essence in me that's just noticing and observing myself as a newborn baby. That I'm an amazing freaking human walking around doing the best I can. It doesn't matter if I get upset with people. It doesn't matter if I'm frustrated. It doesn't matter if I don't want to talk to people. It doesn't matter if nothing matters. When I'm looking at myself as a newborn child or newborn baby, and I'm holding that vibration and that essence, I have no judgment about myself. The last 24 hours, I can't tell you how much it shifted me. It's almost like I'm cradling myself in a way that I never have before. It's a miracle. And I'm sharing this today with you because I invite you to practice this as well. If it works for me, maybe it's going to work for you. Because when you move into higher dimensional fields, you are innately connected and tapping into that love essence, which is unconditional love for self, unconditional love for every other being. But you don't just jump into that, right? You are practicing getting there. right? You have to practice every single day. This is a long marathon. I've said this so many times. And it's a daily, every now moment practice. And we are practicing so many things. I mean, how many things are we practicing right now, right? Present moment, non-judgment, connecting to higher self, understanding dimensions, understanding the quantum field, understanding your family of light, understanding how to navigate the programs and paradigms that you're recognizing that you're participating in, clearing out the density. I mean, there's so many things. And self-love is a massive one. It's one that we have to start practicing. And what you're going to know, because you, in a fifth dimensional new earth field that you're going to shift yourself into, first of all, what you'll be tapping into when you've shifted your vibration to that field is the essence that's already inside of you. So you're not going anywhere, right? You're just increasing the frequency within your own form, accessing and activating. It's not even activating, it's accessing the essence that's been in you since the moment you dropped into this physicality. So it's not like this destination that you're going to get to. It's a destination that's inside of you that's going to be awakened. And you'll be able to tap into it and feel it more and more and more. And the easiest way to begin to tap into that love essence is to feel what it feels like to unconditionally love yourself through an experience that you've had in the past of unconditionally loving something. And the easiest way, the most pure essence of love that most humans have felt is looking at a newborn baby, looking at a baby. And can you turn and look at yourself in those same eyes with that same feeling? And it will shift everything. You will watch yourself not wanting to be mean to yourself. You're going to watch yourself not wanting to say the harsh words that we say, the beliefs that we have about ourselves. It's not going to make sense. It's like, how could I believe that I'm not worthy of something? I'm worthy of anything and everything I want. I'm a brand new baby. Everything that I am is perfection, regardless of what I'm going through. Regardless of what I'm going through. And what the Sirian said was, this is how we see you. All these higher dimensional beings, which, by the way, you are a higher dimensional being. You're just in a physical form. You're just in a third dimensional form. You're learning to see your physicality. You're learning to see this game you're playing, the part of you that's playing this game. You're learning to see that aspect of you through the lens of the higher dimensional aspect of you that's in your physical form already. So you're starting to visualize, turn your focus inward and see you and all of the ways that you've been playing out this beautiful third dimensional consciousness with unconditional eyes from a higher dimensional perspective that's already inside of you. So if you're like me and it's challenging to, or if you're honest about the difficulty of opening that heart center, the difficulty of moving into the heart center, this is a genius way of doing this all the time, 24/7. Because that's what you want to do. You want to practice these things in every now moment as often as you can. Not just when you sit down to meditate, or not just when you listen to a recording, right? You want to know what it feels like to unconditionally love yourself. Think of a newborn baby. That love that you feel when you see a baby is the love that you are feeling towards yourself. So I invite you to practice this. If you're interested in getting the recording of the Sirians talking about this, what they did to me was they brought me in. It's one of the most powerful recordings I've ever done. And for me at least, they direct us straight into that energy center, the fourth energy center. They direct us into that spark. They called it the love essence. And they share messages about that essence, about how to connect to it, what it feels like, how to hold it throughout your day, how to be in it throughout your day. And they don't talk about it as opening the heart center, moving into unity consciousness, moving into Christ consciousness. They don't talk about it like that. They talk about it as a spark of pure love essence, dimmed down a bit because we are not in source frequency. It's in physicality, so it's not as intense, but it's here. And it's easy to access. Throw away all of the spiritual words and all of the complex ways in which people talk about it. And you just navigate yourself into that essence through your breath. And you experience yourself in a previous now moment feeling unconditional love. And that's what you're going to feel when you tap into that. And then you carry it along in your everyday, all day. And what you'll notice as you're doing this is you will start to notice the intense programming that we as humans have gone through in this lifetime. It's not good or bad. It's just intense programming that we believe we're not good enough. We believe that we can't have everything we want. We believe that that we have to work hard to get the things that we want, that we have to put in all kinds of effort, right, in order to receive. That we believe that, I don't know, there's so many things that these programs that we believe about ourselves. We're not lovable. We're not worthy of the deep, deep, unconditional love that we want from another. I can tell you another thing. When you start tapping into that essence of love, you are no longer looking out for that love. You're no longer looking out for that validation. It's like, holy shit, it's right here. That essence, that spark is right here. And when I tap into it, I think about seeing a newborn baby. I feel that love, that unconditional love, and then I turn it towards me. And I'm filled up. I'm filled up. I'm filled up with love. When you're filled up with your own love, you're no longer looking out saying, oh my God, okay, I need love from this, I need love from that, I need to get this, I need to get that. External validation to fill me up. You're going to start to notice the paradigms and programs that are telling you what you need in order to be happy. The programs and paradigms that are telling you that you're not good enough or you need these things in the external in order to feel good. You should be looking a certain way. You should be experiencing certain things in order to have that love, have that happiness. And we all have different programs and paradigms that we play in. So pay attention to those and pay attention to the thoughts, the words, the beliefs. And continue in every now moment to start to visualize that little baby that you're looking at, that little baby you're holding. And turn that vision inward towards yourself and imagine in every now moment that you're holding yourself in your hands. That you are that newborn baby, that you are that beautiful baby that you're looking at. Practice it. See what happens. See if anything shifts. Bring it into your awareness over and over and over again. And just notice. I hope this helps you. I really wanted to share this with you guys because it has massively shifted me in a way that I never thought would happen. So go and practice. Please let me know if you do practice this, if you notice any shifts. Comment down below if you do. If you want the recording of the Sirian journey where it's all about self-love. It's a new journey with the Sirians. It's down below. I'll put the link down below. If you liked this video, push the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. I'd be so grateful for that. And if you have any questions, please leave them down below. I do my best to go through and answer as many questions as I can. I love you all so much, and I'll be back for another video when I'm back. Take care of yourselves, be gentle, and visualize yourself as that beautiful baby that you're holding in your arms. Lots of love.